Hey, all you beautiful, lovely, human-toting, pregnant ladies out there. You are miraculous, and I am glad that you came to check out this video because I am going to show you what I think will be an amazing way for you to plan and keep your memories for the first year that you have a new baby, because it's an overwhelming, fast-paced, well, it's a big time. There's a lot to keep track of. Here, let me take this off because it's gonna jingle and jangle. My daughter just got it yesterday for her 6th birthday. It is a charm making bracelet set, and so she made one this morning. These are the kinds of memories you want to keep, guys. Okay, so you say, what makes you qualified to tell us this information? My name is Emily, and I'm a mom of 2 kids, a new 6-year-old and an almost 8-year-old. So I've been through it myself, but more importantly, I've been a NICU nurse, a neonatal intensive care unit nurse, for 8 years. So I'm around new moms and newborns every single day, and I see the kinds of things that that we need to keep track of that are important to note. And in the beginning, it's a lot. I remember my husband and I kept a little notebook of when I nursed, how many ounces the baby took, if it was a bottle, what time, how many poopy diapers, how many wet diapers. Those are the kinds of things your pediatrician is going to want to see in the first couple of weeks of life, and the kinds of things that you want to keep track of, just, for your own memory keeping. So I am going to show you this planner. It's called the Scribbles That Matter Bullet Planner, and you can get it on Amazon for about $24, which I think is so reasonable because some planners are
hella expensive, you guys. It's crazy.
And this one, I think, serves so many purposes, and I will show you how I would use it for this specific purpose of being a mom of a newborn and planning and memory keeping that first year. So when you open it up in the beginning, obviously mine is filled out. You can check out some of my previous videos to see how I plan my days right now. It'll obviously be a little bit different than what you guys will be keeping track of. But that's the great thing about this planner, is when your baby's 6 months old, 7 months old, and you're, not tracking every single diaper, this planner can evolve with you and just become more of a regular planner / memory keeping. So I think that you'll really like that aspect of it. Okay, Scribbles That Matter Bullet Planner. I will link it below in the information. I am not affiliated with this company. They don't know who the hell I am. I'm just a Joe Schmo that loves this planner. So in the beginning, they've got the regular planner-y type stuff. And then they make all these blank pages, like 7 in the beginning, that look like this. They're like a dot grid setup. I used one for my kids' elementary school calendar, and then I haven't used the other ones yet for anything. Well, I did set up a period tracker, which may be helpful for you guys too, once that starts to kick back in and you're trying to figure out what's going on with your body. And then in the first part, they provide you with these 2 already drawn out graphs, which I think is so handy because you guys could use this to track your baby's weight every week for the first year. So you can see how they're gaining, how maybe lengthwise, how they're growing. Especially in the beginning, it might be helpful if you're nursing. It's helpful to track that kind of thing. And I hear a child just now. Hold on. I'm back. When you're a mom, you have to stop things that you're doing to go wipe butts. So that's what you have to look forward to. Now so you could use one for weight tracking of your baby. The other one, I think there's plenty of things that you could track if you wanted to track your own health kind of things. I wouldn't worry about that kind of thing while you're just a new mom. It's not worth it. You'll bounce back.
Your boobs might not, but you will bounce back.
Now you can see I love washi tape. I love decorations. I think the other great thing about this planner is that it's completely customizable. So if you like to do things like that, you totally can. So, like I said, you don't have to go crazy with the decorations. If you just like to write with a pen or, you know, stuff like that, then you can. But if you enjoy planning and being creative, then this could also be an amazing outlet for you in a time when, you know, you might need a form of stress relief. And this will give you something to look back on. So I think it's completely worthwhile. The monthly setups in this calendar look like this. They are completely blank. And I will show you how, as a new mom, I would utilize this space. They've got this handy, it's not like a calendar like you're used to seeing, but it's the days. And how I think that would be handy for you guys is, I pretended like in July my baby was going to be 1 month old, and so I set this planner up as if that was the case. I used this area up here to just kind of decorate, write the month. This I think would be a great place to print out those monthly pictures where you've got baby with like the block number saying what month it is, or their little sticker on their onesie. And that's when I want to introduce this, the HP Sprocket. I think that you should definitely get one of these. You're about to have a baby and take lots of memories, and you want to not have them just sitting on your phone. And while this might not be the best quality, it is pretty good quality. And the important thing is you'll do it because it's easy and it's right here. You know, back in my day,
we had a pet pterodactyl. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that long ago.
But you still didn't have things like this. You had to send your pictures to Walgreens and then go and get them picked up. And that's why both my kids have exactly 2 pages of their baby books filled out, because it was a pain in the ass and I didn't have time. So this, I think, is a necessity. I would even put it on your registry because shit, if you can get people to buy you things. So that's where you could maybe stick one of these. The cool thing about these pictures is they come off here. I think I've stuck one in here in order that I was going to put on tomorrow that you can see. This is what they look like. They're just a little, I think it's 3 by 2, and they've got a sticky coating on them. So you could just peel them off and you could stick them in your planner. That's why this would be handy memory keeping. This is my daughter opening up one of her presents last night. That face, though, it was a little smelly jelly purse. 6-year-olds, right? You gotta love them. This part, I think, is handy because there is 2 sections, so you could split it up into my appointments and baby appointments. So things that you want to keep track of for yourself. OB follow-ups, maybe when you start doing, you know, walking or yoga, or you've got a baby shower to go to, you know, regular old things. And then baby appointments, pictures, checkups, weight checks. And then I think this would be a great place that you could record milestones on the actual day that they happened. I know in baby books, they give you a whole day for a spread of baby first smile and, you know, baby's popping his first tooth and all that stuff. Like, it's just, that's a lot when you're trying to keep up with life. But in here, you could just jot it down on the day that it happened. Baby smiled today. Insert baby's name here. Or lunch with great grandma today. Stuff like that. That I think it would be easy to keep track of and handy having it all in one place. This side of the setup is a habit tracker. And I think this is handy for when you're in those harried newborn weeks and you can't keep track of what you have done and what you haven't done. For this, I put things like shower, sheets, towels. I'm not saying you have to do these things every day, but it's helpful to remember when the last time you did them was, because it's hard to remember these things. When did we bathe the baby? Tuesday? Wednesday? Monday night? No, you can't remember. Did we do some tummy time today? Did we sterilize pump parts today? Things like that. There is a section for monthly goals, and I would encourage you to make 3 goals for yourself, independent of family, baby. 3 goals, 3 things you want to do for yourself. I put shower daily. This doesn't mean like a long, luxurious shower. It means throw a shower cap on, get in there, hose yourself down, get the spit up off, and you will feel better about yourself. I definitely think that I should have done this when I was a new mom. I think it helps. Get coffee with insert friend here. Just get out of the house. It's okay. You need to do these things. And I put pedicure because self-care is important. And it might just give you time to relax. I put this area is blank in the planner. I think it would be a great place to put a quote or journaling, something that just speaks to your heart and maybe is encouraging for your month. Down here they have an end of month review. I put highlight. I think it'd be really fun to be able to put a highlight of the month, like baby smiled and we met Grandma Ann at lunch and the baby had a diaper blowout on Grandma Ann's lap and it was amazing. Things like that. That is how I think I would use this spread, so it's a functional yet also memory keeping kind of thing that is all in one place, so you're more likely to get it done. This right here is what an empty weekly spread looks like. So there's 12 of those monthly pages in here, back to back, for the 12 months of the year.
Obvi.
And then there's 52 weekly setups like this, where you have this, and then after it, you have the days of the week in boxes that you can do whatever you want with that space. So I'll show you how I would utilize this space as a brand new mom. I decorated this, as you can see, pretending it's the first week in July. When you first bring home a newborn, you're keeping track of feedings and intake and output and all of that stuff. I think this is so handy because there is 24 hours along the side. You could use that to track when the baby sleeps, sleeping periods. And then you could also write when they ate. And you can do it in a abbreviation. You don't have to write breast or bottle. You can do it however you want. And you can also make notes about if you know your kid has a fussy period, then you can kind of denote that. You start to see patterns, and it's helpful to be able to look back on that. Also, if you start pumping, you can put a little mark next to the times that you pumped, because I will tell you from experience, it is impossible to remember when you are tired and just drained when you pumped last. If you're trying to build up a supply when you go back to work or whatever the case may be, it's helpful to have this. You can keep track of, oh, how many times a day am I actually doing it? So I think that is helpful. And I also think that when baby gets older and starts developing more consistent sleeping patterns, this will help you see those patterns. When you start to develop, you know, kind of an AM nap, afternoon nap, PM snooze, and then more of a consistent bedtime. This will help you see when those patterns start to emerge, so you can anticipate what your baby will need at a certain time until they change, like they do every 2 weeks, and keep you on your toes. This part right here is blank in the original. I thought it would be handy to use it for health stuff, like I just made this stuff up. Noticed a rash on tummy. Rash still on tummy, now on back, red and raised. Temperatures, called the peds office. Going away, bottom red, started Desitin. Things like that that you want to keep note of, because when you do take your baby to the pediatrician, they're going to ask you, when did you start to see this? When did this start being an issue? And it's so hard to remember.
Last week? Yesterday? I don't know my own name right now. I can't tell you.
If you have this, you can look back on it and say, it was Tuesday that I noticed the rash. This empty part here is, like I said, free space that you can do whatever you want with. I think it would be amazing to use your handy dandy sprocket and put in a weekly picture of baby, so that at the end of the year you have 52 weeks of seeing how that they're growing and changing, which I think is so cool. If you're really ambitious, you could try it and plan what you're going to do for dinners during the week, or just a simple to-do list. I think that is really a functional way that this would work great for you in the beginning. And as your baby gets older and you get to be more adept at these things, you're not going to be tracking all this, and it can transition into a regular planner. And check out some of my other videos to see how I plan my life now as a working nurse and a mom of 2 kids and a wife. I'm not saying it's amazing. It's mediocre at best, but I do it, so you can check that out. Oh, that's my son. One of them is him. Okay. And then this is the other part of the weekly layout, and I will show you how you can take advantage of this space. And you can see that I've used my washi tape. I've gotten creative with it. Now, for me, this would have been something fun for me to do because I like doing things like this. You don't have to do things like this. If that stresses you out, don't do it by all means. Get a pen and jot things down. I know they make apps to track all this kind of thing, but at the end of the year, what do you have to show for it?
Besides a human, besides the actual human being in your arms.
Which is kind of more important than a planner. But I mean, if you want to keep that information for posterity, you've just got it all on an app. If you did this weekly, planning, you would have such an amazing keepsake for your child and for you one day. So when they turn 15 and they're, an absolute selfish turd, you can say,
look at this book. I did love you that much one time.
So maybe it'll solve some disputes down the road. I just kind of prettied it up with some hand cursive writing. So you could make a little graph in the beginning with times baby ate, how much they took in. And another thing that's helpful to track is the side that you started or ended on nursing, because that's always very hard to keep track of. And then the number of poops and pees. When you go to the pediatrician for your 2-week checkup, they're going to ask you how many wet diapers, how many dirty diapers in this amount of time. And you can look back and say, we are getting hydrated enough, we're feeding enough, my milk supply is fine or whatever. When it transitions, and you don't have to keep track of this stuff, then it just becomes a place for your to-do lists and to note, things. Because I make a lot of lists because my memory is shot now because of the 2 humans that we created. It's done. So I put a little appointment sticker, a to-do list, a note to self, started squash today. When you start feeding solid foods, it's helpful to keep track of when you started something so that let's not try anything new for a couple days and see how this sits. See if we have any allergies. So I think that's a really cool way that this can be used. Now you can see in a blank one that this is all blank. I decided to draw in 2 boxes for the weekend, but you could use this giant space for whatever you want. You could journal in that about your week. You could do more memory keeping or collage. You could do whatever your heart desires. And lastly, the end of this book is full of blank pages. I think what would be handy maybe for new moms is you could use this as one page for yourself to track books that people have recommended that you read, movies that you see, blogs, websites, YouTube channels that you enjoy. You could keep track of babysitters, important phone numbers, and also you could just use this as kind of like more memory keeping. More pictures, quotes, anything that inspires you. So I think that this would be so great because, as I said before, all of this is in one space, and at the end of the year you would have an amazing keepsake. So I think that you guys should consider this. Like I said, I'm not affiliated with Scribbles That Matter. I just love this planner. And when your planning evolves and you don't have a newborn anymore, come see how I plan my days. As a mom, this is what it looks like. And I would love for you to subscribe and become part of my little planning and art family. I am so excited for all of the amazing things you have in store. Thanks, guys.